Well, Genesis says they're going to send me a 2023 GV60 performance electric car. And here's the paperwork on my screen. Let's see what we're getting. I'll just scroll down. You can stop the video anytime. And the second row. A lot of stuff here. Lots of money. No options? I'm shocked. Tell me there's got to be some options. There always are. Guess not. And there you go. And the EPA has some stupid formula to figure out the fuel economy. I've never been able to figure out what they're talking about. Not that important. What is important is this vehicle is made in Korea 100%. Well, 90% anyway. Means the quality's pretty good. They slap them together better over there. Nothing about the safety ratings. I usually ignore those anyway. I get them to drive, not crash. We're at our test facility. Let's roll out this Genesis and see what it looks like. Wow, check out that paint color. I like it. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Definitely a nice looking vehicle. As we do in all of our vehicles, we're going to take the headlights out in the dark and see how they perform. We did a separate video on that already on YouTube, but for us, it'll be part 3 of the video if you haven't seen that other video. And it appears we have a total of 20 bulbs, 10 on each side. Another thing we do is check to see if there's a spare tire. Most electric cars don't have one. By the way, the cubic feet of space back here is 25, unless you fold down the seats. I'm told it's 54. Nope, no spare. And here's the charging cord in the little bag over here. But you do have some extra storage space. Maybe I'll add a little bit more on that 25 cubic feet. The charging port is located on the rear passenger side. Some people like that, some people don't. They don't like backing into a charger. I don't think it really matters to me. According to the specs, you should be able to charge a household 240 volt in about 10 hours, depending on the circuitry. But the claim is if you go to a super fast charger, you can get to 80% from 10% in about 18 minutes. I like the way they get the exact number, not 20 rounded off, 18 minutes flat. Should be interesting to see if that's true. Alright, let's talk about the color before we continue on. There's 2 types of electric car people out there. First are the serious. They really think the electric cars are good for the environment. In the next 20 years, everybody's going to be driving these to get rid of their gasoline cars. Neither one of those are true, by the way. Then you have type number 2. People who really welcome electric cars to the market, sort of like them, but realize basically they're just play toys. Right now, mainly for the rich. And if I'm spending over 60 grand for a play toy, I want to be seen in it, and that's why I like this color. I took it out on the street, and everybody's gawking at it. The homeless people on the street were waving at me. The people in their beat-up cars next to me were waving at me. The people in their Mercedes were waving at me. This thing really gets attention. If you want attention, you're going to get it with this. I think it's called some metallic yellow. I don't remember what it's called. I like it. There was another one in the fleet with white paint for a more conservative look. You do have your choice. Take your pick. And one of the things we always do to get a vehicle is raise the hood to see what's underneath. Well, of course, there's no gasoline engine under here, but there is a small trunk, just under a cubic foot. Not sure what you put in here. Maybe you stick a pizza in here. Why is there a spider crawling up on my hand here? Come on, buddy. Hey, come on. Not going to kill him. I like spiders, but what's he doing in there? There's nothing to eat. There's a less expensive GV60 version, putting out 314 horsepower at the claimed range of 248 miles. This particular performance model, 429 horsepower, Claimed range of 235 miles. This car has an interesting feature, facial recognition. You put your kisser right up to here, and that will cause the doors to unlock. Then you put your finger here, I'm told, and if it reads your fingerprint properly, the car starts. And then the little crystal ball here revolves and you have your shifter. Of course, the question is, how reliable is this system in rain or snow or crazy weather? I'm not going to take a chance to find out. So, to operate the car, I'll be using the good old-fashioned key fob. Got a lot of controls on here you need to learn. And on the steering wheel, there's a power boost button, which temporarily, I'm told about 10 seconds, can boost power to 483. For impressing your buddies or passing on the freeway. By the way, most people look at this, say it's a car, but it's actually marketed as a crossover SUV. About 6 inches of ground clearance, but I don't think anyone's going to be taking this off-road, which is what a crossover SUV is supposed to be capable of, especially without a spare tire. But SUV, crossover, car, call it what you want, it is what it is. And by the way, if you order the performance version, you also get 21-inch wheels and tires instead of 20 inches. By the way, if you live where the weather's pretty wet and nasty, pay attention to this little shelf here. A lot of accumulation will get on your pants as you get in and out of the vehicle, so you want to keep this wiped down. Let's take a look at the cabin, starting with the glove box. It's actually a shelf that slides out. Why don't more car makers do this? I think it's a pretty good idea. Keep stuff from spilling out all over the place. Sun visor slide back and forth to keep the sun out of the side windows. Some cars you can't do that, amazingly. You can do it here. And very, very nice leather suede trim. I'm told it's real leather, certainly looks to be. Along with the fingerprint reader, controls for the radio. Pretty simple climate control operation. A very wide infotainment screen. The one disadvantage with many electric cars, there's a lot of stuff on here. It takes a lot of time to learn it all. If you don't know it, it can be very aggravating to use, so be patient. And when you put the transmission in reverse, this is what you see. Oh, look at this. How cool is that? Alright, let's go out and do some driving, starting with the power steering, which typical electric car, no feel, no feedback, like playing a video game. On a gasoline powered car, this would not be acceptable, but on electric cars, nobody seems to mind, so it's just the way it is. By the way, there is a drive mode button on the steering wheel. Eco, Comfort, or Sport, and most of the time we'll be driving in Comfort mode. So as we do in all our videos, we're going to take some mild speed humps around 15 miles per hour, see how the suspension performs on impact. Should be interesting with these large 21-inch wheels and tires. Bump number 1. Pretty plush. Number 2. And number 3. And here comes the big, nasty one. Gently felt it, but nothing serious. Pretty comfortable. I'm playing with the buttons on here by the seat, and turns out we have a massaging seat set up. Should have read the owner's manual. Would have known sooner. Pelvic stretch. Yeah. That's interesting. This vehicle is a very smooth highway cruiser. Nice and quiet and comfortable. Great for long trips until you run out of electricity in the battery, that is. Then you're not going anywhere. And we got cameras on the outside mirrors. Nice little feature. I think it's time we checked out this boost button. Get that extra horsepower. 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds, they say. Ooh! Well, I was told this vehicle is about as quick as a Dodge Hellcat when you push the boost button, and apparently that's true. It really cranks up the horsepower and acceleration when you turn it on. And when you turn it off, it's smooth and quiet and handles very good. A nice back-road country car. And here's the fun part of owning an electric car, when all the chargers are taken and some schmuck wanders off for 3 or 4 hours, leaving the vehicle there. Like these have been sitting. Now, problem in a gas station, you pull up, fill the tank in 5 minutes, and on your way. I had to toss that in. Well, this is comfortable. I got 20 million volts going here, and I'm standing in water down here. What could go wrong? Those quick charging times Genesis advertised might work with the 350 kilowatts, but with the 150, I think you're going to be waiting a while. And waiting. Okay, charged up, on our way. 227 miles at 87% charge, for those interested in those specs. I would have stuck around for 100%, but I'm kind of in a hurry. By the way, the price of adding 72 miles to the battery was $16 and some odd cents for those interested in the cost. I get about 5 gallons of gas, and on a car getting 25 to the gallon, let's see. That'd be 125 miles for gas or 70 for electric. Of course, it's going to be a lot less expensive if you charge it at home. Public chargers, they cost. Genesis advertised this as an SUV, and with 4-wheel traction, we did take it out in the sand a little bit. And with the 6 inches ground clearance, I guess you could use it as an SUV going off-road, but I don't really think it's intended for that. Plus, no spare tire. So what's my take on this Genesis GV60 SUV, if we want to call it that, after a week of driving? If you're looking for a luxury electric car, this might be for you. I really have no complaints at all. It's a very nice, well thought out rig. Well, personally, I'm not a fan of electric cars. Give me a good old gasoline power V8. I was impressed with this vehicle. Enjoyed driving it. So if you didn't see our headlight test video we did on YouTube, we're going to show it now for part 3 of this video. Before we take this out in the dark, let's see what we're dealing with here. The upper tier, we have 2 bright ones on the left. 6 mild flickering, and on the bottom, not much of anything. Now we turn the brights on. It appears we have 4 strong ones on the left and 6 average on the right. That's how it works. And here's the shifter in the daytime, but I understand this little ball lights up in the dark. We'll be looking for that as well. Alright, looks like we're good to go. 20 bulbs. What a setup. Should be interesting. And here's what the taillights look like. Nothing unusual. And turn the emergency lights on, and then they're embedded into the taillights. Interesting. Bright enough. Got a flasher on the outside mirror. Check this out. These 6 bulbs on the right turn to emergency flashers. Interesting. Turn off the headlights, and definitely easy to see. And the rear. And by the way, don't break this mirror, because in addition to the flasher, there's a camera over here, as we'll demonstrate later. Very expensive to replace this unit. Now here's the magic ball we showed in the daylight. Lights up the interior with a nice green glow. Start the car. And presto, now we have a shifter. Yeah, it's a gimmick, but whatever. Now let's see and drive. It's green. Reverse, it turns red. And here's what we see on the nice large info screen. This is neat. And here's what the gauge cluster looks like in the dark. By the way, if you're hearing all these explosions in the background, we're getting to New Year's Eve, 2023. Fireworks and the usual bullets flying overhead. Nothing to worry about. Let's get to the headlights. That's what we're here for. The wall is 33 yards away, or 100 feet. What is that, 35 meters? Very, very bright. Height is just above the bushes, so that's adequate, but very, very dark above the bushes. I don't think that's going to work out very good if we enter a lot of dips. Bright's very strong in the middle. Not much of a spread. Interesting considering we've got 20 bulbs working here. Let's take a look down the dark, dingy street. Normal. High beams are very strong in the middle. No lights at all. I'm often asked how much electricity the headlights and other night stuff uses when you're driving in the evening. Actually not much. I've never seen any difference between driving in the daytime and operating the headlights at night. Not very significant. On the other hand, using the heater can definitely drain the battery. If you turn it up maximum with heated steering wheel, heated seats, you can drain your battery about twice as quick as normal, but no one drives like that. After about 5 minutes, the vehicle warms up. You turn the heat down like 75. Then it really doesn't use that much electricity. Of course, if you live in Alaska, where it's always freezing, and you always have to turn the heat up, that could change, but not too many people drive electric cars in Alaska. I don't think there will be in the near future. I'm not a fan of auto-dimming mirrors because I don't like driving with blacked-out mirrors in city traffic. It's not very safe in my opinion. That's why I have an auto-dimming mirror. I want an off switch, and I really can't find one on here. Maybe there's a menu somewhere in the computer to turn it off. Haven't found it yet. In the meantime, a piece of tape over the sensor hole, which is up in the top usually, will solve that problem. It appears for right now I'm stuck with an auto-dimming mirror system. You'd think there'd be a camera set up, but I can't find that either. Not yet. A lot of controls and bells and whistles on this car. Takes a while to learn. And when you turn the turn signals on, you have a nice camera system on the outside mirrors and a good view screen on the gauge cluster. Comes in very handy in city traffic. Makes up for the blacked out mirrors, doesn't it? Because now I can see what's on the side, on my left. or on the right. Don't need the mirrors. And these lights do a pretty good job of lighting up signs on the highway. Normal lights, brights. Very strong in the middle again. If you're driving down dark, dingy streets, no problem. Lights up pretty good. Looks like a car lot in this neighborhood. Well, I guess we passed the night test. For the price they're charging, I would hope so.